It started on an ordinary Tuesday morning, if there's such a thing on an army airfield. The sound of rotors slicing the desert air, the smell of oil and metal, the sight of Apache helicopters lined up like silent beasts waiting to wake. Private First Class Elena Torres was there before sunrise, as always. She wasn't a pilot. She wasn't an officer. She was a crew chief, the quiet kind of soldier who kept the birds alive when nobody was watching. The ones who cleaned, repaired, and tested the guns that others would use in battle. But that day, something happened that no one expected. Hey everyone, before we dive deep into Elena's story, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to her Mission Diaries so you never miss another true military moment that hits right in the heart. Now, back to the story. Elena wiped her sleeve across her forehead, squinting against the desert sun as she kneeled by the right gun pod of the AH-64 Apache. The machine gun, the M230 chain gun, had jammed during a training exercise the day before. It was her job to strip it, clean it, and make sure it fired clean on the next run. She'd done it 100 times. But this time, she wasn't just cleaning metal. She was trying to bury a memory. Her brother, Sergeant Marco Torres, had been an Apache pilot. He flew the same model out of the same base. Until last year, on a fog-covered night in Kandahar, his bird was hit. It went down fast, and only pieces came home. One of those pieces, his shoulder patch, Elena had sewn onto her own uniform, inside her sleeve where nobody would see. She told herself it was her way of keeping him close. But that day, as she worked on tail number 432, she noticed something strange. There was a name scrawled in faded black ink on the gun's housing. It was small, barely visible under the dust and grease. Torres. Her breath caught. Her gloves froze in mid-motion. The wrench slipped from her hand and clanked against the concrete. "Everything okay, Torres?" came a voice from behind her. She turned. Captain Ryan Hale, the Apache's pilot, was walking toward her. He was the kind of man who carried war in his eyes, but spoke like he'd rather forget it. She straightened instantly. "Yes, sir." "Just, routine cleaning." He nodded, but something in her voice made him pause. "You sure? You look like you've seen a ghost." Elena hesitated, then forced a small smile. "Maybe I have." Hale walked closer, looking down at the weapon system she'd been working on. His gaze dropped to the name etched into the side. His expression changed, first confusion, then shock. He stepped back slowly, eyes wide. "Wait, where did you get this bird?" "Maintenance Bay 3, Elena said, trying to keep her voice steady. "Why?" He stared at her, the desert wind tugging at his flight suit. "Because this was his Apache. Marco Torres was my co-pilot." The words hit her like a gunshot. The wrench slipped again, clattering louder this time. Her knees felt weak. "You flew with him?" Hale nodded. "He saved my life that night." For a moment, the two of them stood in silence, soldier and mechanic, bound by a ghost. Then Hale's eyes dropped to her sleeve. The edge of the patch, Marco's patch, had slipped out. When he saw it, he froze. The air between them grew thick with something unspoken. Grief, memory, honor. "Elena," he whispered, voice breaking. "You're his sister." She didn't answer. She didn't have to, and for the first time in a long while, both of them remembered what it meant to serve, not just the uniform, but the people who wore it. The next morning, Elena got an unexpected order. Captain Hale had personally requested her on the pre-flight team for Apache 432. She didn't want to go near that helicopter again. It felt haunted, sacred, but orders were orders. As she approached the flight line, she saw Hale waiting beside the aircraft, helmet tucked under his arm. He looked different today. Calm, focused, determined. "Torres," he said quietly. "You ready?" "For what, sir?" "For closure." He gestured to the open seat, the gunner's seat, where her brother used to sit. "You're coming up with me." Her first instinct was to refuse. Crew chiefs didn't fly unless absolutely necessary. But when she looked at the patch on her arm, she felt something stir. Maybe it was fear. Maybe it was her brother's voice whispering, "Go!" The rotors began to spin, slicing through the air like old memories being stirred awake. Elena climbed aboard, the smell of metal and oil wrapping around her like an old song. The ground disappeared beneath them, and the desert stretched endlessly in every direction. Hale spoke through the headset. "He used to hum while he flew. Drove me crazy." Elena smiled faintly. "Yeah, Mom said he did that even as a kid." For a long time, neither spoke. Then Hale pointed to the horizon. He covered me when we got hit. I ejected. He didn't. I never got to tell his family. You just did, she said softly. When they landed, Hale removed his helmet and placed it on the seat. You fixed his gun. You kept his bird flying. That means something, Torres. She looked at him, tears burning her eyes. I just wanted to make him proud. You did. The pilot saluted her, a gesture rarely given to enlisted crew by officers. She saluted back, the sun glinting off her tear-streaked face. Later that night, alone in the hangar, Elena touched the Apache's side. She whispered, "Rest easy, Marco. She's still flying. And if you felt her story, if it reminded you of the quiet heroes who serve behind the scenes, then hit that like button and subscribe to her Mission Diaries. Because some stories deserve to keep flying too."